I am Slick Nick, your personal keto bro, and I want to drop some science on you today. Here it is. Here's what we're going to look at. You don't realize how hungry carbs make you until you stop eating them. It's quite a paradox. Most people on this planet, especially in the United States, will never regularly live in a way that they're not eating carbs at the beginning of the day. And therefore, they can never know the glory of living the keto lifestyle like I do. I mean, it's funny to think that just a couple hundred calories per day at the wrong time can throw everything off the rails. So for example, let me describe most people I know. Here's how they start their day. They wake up, oh, I'm hungry. Instead of drinking water like I do, I drink like 4 glasses of water when I wake up. Instead of doing that, they might get some cereal or some oatmeal, something that will spike their insulin and make them hungry, because that's what carbohydrates do. They make you hungry, which makes you hungrier for the rest of the day. Even if they don't do that, they say, well, I'll just have some coffee. Well, what do they put in the coffee? They put some kind of creamer, which is not in itself a problem, but that creamer, unless it's pure heavy whipping cream, it contains carbohydrates. Even if it's slightly sweetened, it's still sweetened. And there's probably not a whole lot of fat in that creamer either. So they're starting carbs, they're spiking their insulin, despite the caffeine, which helps offset your appetite a little bit. They're spiking on insulin with that coffee. And therefore, they're gonna most likely be hungry enough for lunch, probably an early lunch. And from there, they're going to, even if they don't have a real breakfast, they're still gonna definitely have a lunch and a dinner. So they're eating more calories during the day. Those carbohydrates make you hungry, and keep in mind, they trigger insulin, which causes you to store fat. So that's how most people live their lives. They've never experimented and committed like I have, like I've been living for quite a while now, since November 2020, to where here's what my day looks like. I wake up, drink about 4 glasses of water at least, which, because you're not actually hungry, you're thirsty, you're dehydrated from your body basically burning calories throughout the night, burning fat throughout the night. That's what's actually, so you need more water. And then I'll give it maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I'll have some black coffee with MCT oil. So caffeine, impure fat, which in theory, my body gets a little bit of something it needs to kind of burn off, which is pure fat, which also feeds my brain. And so it's kind of speeding up my metabolism just from that. Give it a few more hours when I'm hungry again. Of course, I have 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, which also tricks my body into thinking I've been fasting longer than I have. So then that's only going to help burn off more fat. And then I have my next cup of coffee, black coffee, heavy whipping cream. I put some cayenne in there. Again, making my body have to burn off pure fat, but while still feeding my brain and giving my body energy, because that is an alternate resource for fuel, is pure fat. But it's easier to use carbs because they're quick, easy, cheap energy. So the body naturally wants the easiest thing to do. It would rather burn off carbs. But when you deprive it of that and you only have fat, it's a more efficient version of fuel, but it's not as easy to use. So therefore it burns more calories. It's almost 2 o'clock in real time right now. Will I eat lunch is the question. I'm not really that hungry. I might eat lunch. We'll see. But if not, I will make it another 3.5, 4 hours, and then I'll eat my 1 meal a day and be good. But during that time, when that 1 meal I'll have, I am going to compress a day's worth of calories basically into 1 meal. And during that 1 meal, I will be having probably somewhere between 100 and 150 grams of protein. And I weigh 158 pounds, so I'm nearly matching every pound to about an ounce of complete protein. Not, for example, almonds, there's protein in almonds, and almonds are good for you, but it's not complete protein that necessarily helps build muscle and maintain muscle mass. So I'm gonna have between 100 and 150 grams of protein, and then I'm gonna have easily at least that much in fat just throughout the day. I eat so much fat as well. Butter, whole heavy whipping cream, full fat cottage cheese, full fat Greek yogurt, cheese. I'm loaded, and then not to mention nuts, for example. Nuts have fat in them as well. So even more grams of fat than I am protein. And I will have some carbs. It's going to be 50 grams or less, but it's mainly going to also be packed with more fat and more protein, cottage cheese and my Greek yogurt. And I will have some frozen berries, blackberries and raspberries, but there's so much fiber in them, the net carbs are very low. Let's say I have a baked potato, which I often do, which only is a sponge for more sour cream, cheese, and butter, but there's enough dietary fiber in there to help me also make sure that everything's moving the way it should. But no, I'm not hangry, and ultimately, like I said, most people will never live a life knowing what this is like, to turn off that switch for hunger, to turn off that switch for storing fat, and instead be more satisfied. I'm not hungry during the day. Like I said, it's almost 2 and I haven't eaten a meal yet. I've had my coffee with the fat. That's it. And I'm not really that hungry. I could have never done that before. If I wasn't doing keto, there's no way I'd be fasting till 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock at night. There's no way I'd have what it takes, because ghrelin would be kicking in, making me very miserable and hungry. So just imagine this. It's a simple thought. Most people can never experience what I experience because of about 100 calories in the morning. That's all it takes to derail this whole thing from coming true, being able to keep from being hungry and being able to keep from storing fat. What keeps them from it? Because they eat carbs in the morning. It's the American breakfast. That's what you're taught to do. Eat carbs. Oh, well, I'm just gonna have some coffee and some low-fat creamer in my coffee. Exactly, so you're depriving yourself of fat during the day, which that fat could be going to your brain, and you're putting carbs in there, which spikes your insulin, makes you hungry, and is going to invite you to eat more calories than you need to for the day by causing you to eat 3 meals a day, when really, often, most days, I'm completely fine with just 1 meal or 2 at the most that I don't even eat until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Most people can never get to that point because they've been brainwashed to think that they need to eat 3 meals a day and that they need to have carbs. But the carbs in the day, I mean, just think about coffee creamer. It may be less than 100 calories in that coffee creamer that you eat, but that spikes your insulin. Or maybe that cereal that you eat, the oatmeal, maybe it's only 200 calories, but it's still got those carbs and usually a lack of fat. So therefore you're gonna be hungry and mess the whole thing up for yourself. But imagine, few people on the planet like me have discovered the secret. I enjoy my life. I'm not hangry. I'm not hungry. I don't have to bother with eating as much. Now, granted, I'm eating some spectacularly heavy meals or meal every day, and it's quite a feast, and I enjoy it, and it's a lot of fun. But I'm not really needing it all day. That's not what I'm not just, oh, I finally made it till 6 o'clock at night. I can finally eat. No, it's more like, oh yeah, it's 6 o'clock at night. I guess I better go ahead and start eating my 150 grams of protein and 230 grams of fat. I guess I might as well go ahead and do that. And then that's what I do. And then it's time to start getting ready for bed. And that's how my day works. It's like I am from a different planet. But most people are not open-minded enough to try it. And that's why I remain the minority. Your comments belong right here.